Then Reed dropped his supply bag onto the metal table with a heavy thud. His back hurt from hauling cargo containers all day, and his stomach had been growling for the past 2 hours. The food court on Hub Station Meridian smelled like 100 different worlds all cooking at once. Some smells were good, some made him want to hold his breath. He bought a large meal from the Earth food vendor. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes with gravy, and mixed vegetables. Real food, not the synthetic stuff most haulers ate to save credits. Owen believed in treating himself after a hard day. He found an empty table near the back and sat down with a satisfied grunt. The food court was packed with aliens from every corner of the galaxy. Blue-skinned Centaurians in their fancy robes, the insect-like Krillians clicking their mandibles as they ate, even a few other humans scattered around. Everyone minded their own business. That was the unwritten rule in places like this. Owen had just taken his third bite when he noticed her. She stood about 10 feet away, partially hidden behind a support column. Her scales were a dull bronze color, not shiny like they should be. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with wings folded so tight against her back they almost disappeared. Her eyes were fixed on his plate. Not on him, just the food, a flame wing. Owen had seen a few before, but never this close. They were rare in civilized space. Most people considered them dangerous. Too primitive, too unpredictable. This one looked young, maybe equivalent to a human in their early 20s. She took a small step forward, then stopped. Her clawed hands fidgeted nervously. Owen could see her throat move as she swallowed. He kept eating, pretending not to notice, but he watched from the corner of his eye. It took her almost 5 minutes to work up the courage. She approached slowly, like she expected him to yell or throw something. Her voice came out quiet and rough, like she had not used it much lately. "Excuse me, human." She spoke in broken common tongue, the trade language most species used. "When you finish, can I have your leftovers?" The conversation at nearby tables stopped. Heads turned. A few aliens laughed. Owen heard someone mutter the word beggar in Centaurian. Another alien made a disgusted sound and moved to a different table. Owen looked up at her properly for the first time. Her eyes were amber-colored with vertical slits for pupils. Those eyes held something he recognized: desperation, pride fighting against hunger. He had seen that look before, a long time ago, in a mirror. He looked down at his half-eaten meal, then back at her, then at his meal again. Without saying a word, Owen pushed the entire tray across the table toward her. She stared at it, confused. Her head tilted slightly, the way a confused animal might. Owen stood up. The chair scraped against the floor. Every eye in the food court was on them now. He walked back to the Earth food vendor and ordered another meal. The same thing. Large portion. The vendor, an older human woman, gave him a knowing look but said nothing. Owen paid with his credit chip and waited. The food court had gone completely silent. He could feel hundreds of eyes watching. When his order was ready, he carried the tray back to the table and sat down across from the flame wing girl. She had not moved, had not touched the food. She just stood there, frozen, staring at the tray like it might explode. "These are not leftovers," Owen said clearly. He picked up his fork and started eating his own meal. "This is your meal." "I got my own." Her mouth opened slightly. No sound came out. "You going to stand there all day, or are you going to eat?" Owen asked between bites. He did not look at her directly. Something told him that direct eye contact might make her run. Slowly, carefully, she sat down. Her wings rustled. She picked up the fork like she was not sure what to do with it. Then she stabbed a piece of chicken and brought it to her mouth. The first bite was slow. The second was faster. By the third, she was eating like someone who had not seen food in days, maybe weeks. She tried to maintain dignity, tried to eat slowly, but her body betrayed her need. Owen ate his own meal at a normal pace. He did not stare, did not comment, just ate like this was the most normal thing in the world. A well-dressed Centaurian merchant walked over. His robes shimmered with expensive thread. His face held contempt. "Human, you should not encourage beggars," the Centaurian said loudly. "If she wants to eat, she should enter proper service. There are companies that would take her species. For the right price." Owen finished chewing before he responded. He put his fork down slowly and looked up at the Centaurian. "Where I come from," Owen said in a calm voice, "we decided a long time ago that nobody should have to sell themselves just to survive. We fought wars over it, bad wars. So no, I do not think she should enter service. I think she should eat. The Centaurian's face darkened. Your human sentiment is foolish. This is how the galaxy works. Resources for labor. Nothing is free. The meal was not free, Owen replied. I paid for it. What she does after eating is her business, not yours. The merchant made a disgusted sound and walked away, muttering in his own language. Other aliens whispered to each other. Some looked approving. Most looked confused. A few humans in the crowd were smiling. Owen went back to eating. Across from him, the flame-wing girl had slowed down. She was staring at him now with those amber eyes. They were wet. She was crying, he realized, though no tears fell. Maybe her species could not produce tears. What is your name? Owen asked. She hesitated. Lyra. I am Owen. Nice to meet you, Lyra. They finished their meals in silence. But it was a different kind of silence now. Less awkward. Almost comfortable. Then station security arrived. 2 of them, heavily armed, walking straight toward their table. The crowd parted to let them through. You, one of the guards said, pointing at Lyra. We have received complaints. You are soliciting in the food court. That is prohibited. You need to leave the station. Owen stood up. Not aggressive, but firm. She is not soliciting. She is my guest. And as of right now, she is my crew member. So unless you want to start removing employed workers from the station, I suggest you walk away. The guards looked at each other. One spoke into his communication device. There was a brief conversation Owen could not hear. Finally, the guard nodded. If she is employed, that changes things. But we will verify this. If you are lying, there will be consequences. I am not lying, Owen said simply. The guards left. The crowd slowly went back to their own business. Owen sat back down and realized what he had just done. He had just hired someone he met 5 minutes ago. Someone he knew nothing about. A flame wing, which meant most stations would give him trouble. His ship insurance might even increase. Across the table, Lyra stared at him like he had just grown a second head. Why? She whispered. You do not even know me, Owen shrugged. He felt tired suddenly. Tired, but somehow lighter. Everyone deserves a chance to eat without strings attached, he said. We will figure out the rest as we go. For the first time since he had seen her, Lyra smiled. It was small and uncertain, but it was real. Lyra woke before the artificial sunrise on the station. She had spent the night in the cargo bay of Owen's ship, the Steady Hand. He had offered her the spare crew quarters, but she refused. The cargo bay felt safer, more familiar. She could leave quickly if she needed to. She did not trust this yet. Could not trust it. The metal floor was cold against her scales. She had slept curled up in the corner, wings wrapped around herself like a blanket. Old habits from living on the streets of the station. Always make yourself small. Always stay ready to run. But nothing bad had happened during the night. Owen had simply shown her the ship, pointed out where things were, and gone to his own quarters. He did not lock her in. Did not set up surveillance she could see. Just went to sleep like having a flame wing on his ship was completely normal. Lyra stood and stretched. Her wings ached from being folded for so long. When was the last time she had flown? Months, maybe longer. The station did not allow flame wings in the open flight areas. Fire hazard, they said. Dangerous species, they said. She looked around the cargo bay. It was messy. Containers stacked without much organization. Tools scattered on a workbench. Dust in the corners. She had seen worse, but she had also seen better. Her claws itched to fix it, to organize. To prove she was worth keeping around, Lyra started working. She moved quietly, careful not to wake Owen. She reorganized the containers by size and weight, cleaned the tools and arranged them properly, swept the dust into a collection bin. By the time she heard footsteps on the deck above, she had transformed half the cargo bay. Owen appeared at the top of the stairs. His hair stuck up in odd directions. He wore a simple shirt and pants. He carried 2 metal cups that steamed in the cool air. You are awake early, he said. His voice was rough from sleep. Lyra stood very still, suddenly afraid. Had she overstepped? Was he angry that she touched his things? I was organizing. I am sorry if I should not have. It looks good, Owen interrupted. He came down the stairs and held out one of the cups. Do you drink coffee? She took the cup carefully. The warmth felt good against her palms. She sniffed it. Bitter. Strange. She took a small sip and tried not to make a face. Owen laughed. Yeah, it is an acquired taste. There is water in the galley if you prefer. He sat on one of the newly organized containers and looked around the cargo bay. You did not have to do this. I wanted to help, Lyra said quickly. I need to earn my place. You said I was crew. Crew works. Crew also sleeps in actual beds, Owen pointed out. The spare quarters have a hammock. Might be more comfortable than metal floor. Lyra did not answer. She sipped the awful coffee and tried to think of what to say. Owen seemed to understand. Take your time. No pressure. But we do have work today if you want to help. Real work. Got a cargo run to a mining colony about 6 hours from here. Easy job, good pay. What do I need to do? Lyra asked. Monitor the instruments while I pilot. Help load and unload the cargo. Basic stuff. I will show you everything. They spent the next hour preparing the ship. Owen explained each system patiently. Navigation, life support, engine monitoring, communication. He did not get frustrated when she asked questions. Did not treat her like she was stupid for not knowing. Most species treated flame wings like they were barely civilized. Good for manual labor, too dumb for technical work. Owen treated her like a person learning a new job. The steady hand undocked from the station smoothly. Lyra sat in the co-pilot seat and watched the stars. She had not been in space since fleeing her destroyed colony world. That journey was a nightmare she tried not to remember. Packed in a refugee transport. Too many bodies. Not enough food. People dying around her. This was different. Quiet. Peaceful. Just her and Owen and the hum of the engines. You have been quiet, Owen said after an hour. You okay? Just thinking, Lyra replied. This is my first time as crew. My first time in space since I escaped. Owen nodded but did not push for details. They flew in comfortable silence for a while. Then alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed on the control panel. The temperature gauge for the cargo bay shot up dramatically. Owen cursed and started working the controls. Temperature regulator is failing, he said quickly. Cargo bay is going to overheat. We have medicine in there. It will be destroyed if we cannot fix it. He unbuckled and started toward the stairs. Lyra grabbed his arm. How hot? She asked. Already at 45 degrees. Going higher, why? I can handle heat, Lyra said. My species evolved in volcanic regions. What needs to be fixed? Owen stared at her for a moment. Then he pulled up a schematic on his tablet. This connection here. It came loose. Needs to be reattached and sealed. But it is deep in the bay. The heat will not hurt me, Lyra finished. She took the tablet and studied the image. I can do this. She went down to the cargo bay before Owen could argue. The heat hit her like a physical wall. She could hear Owen shouting something about safety equipment, but she ignored him. This was her chance. Her opportunity to be actually useful. The heat climbed higher. 50 degrees, 55. For a human, this would be deadly. For Lyra, it was uncomfortable but manageable. She found the loose connection exactly where the schematic showed. Her claws were perfect for the tight space. She reattached the connection and used her natural fire breath, just a tiny controlled burst to seal it properly. The temperature started dropping immediately. Lyra climbed back up to the cockpit. Owen looked at her with wide eyes. That should not have been possible, he said. A human would have passed out. Maybe died, Lyra shrugged. Her scales felt pleasantly warm. I am not human. No, Owen agreed slowly. No, you are not. You are something better for this job. They completed the cargo run without further problems. The mining colony administrator was surprised to see a flame wing working as free crew. He kept looking between Lyra and Owen like he expected some kind of trick. Owen split the payment right down the middle. He transferred half the credits to a new account he had set up for Lyra that morning. She stared at her credit chip in disbelief. This is more than most species pay their full crew. Equal work, equal pay. Owen said simply. That is how it works. You saved that cargo. Probably saved the ship. You earned it. Lyra looked at the numbers on her chip. More credits than she had seen in months. Enough to buy food. Maybe even rent a small space on the station. Enough to leave if she wanted to. She looked at Owen. He was already plotting their course back to the station, humming some human song under his breath. He did not seem worried that she might take the money and disappear. What is our next job? Lyra asked. Owen looked up and smiled. Our next job? Well, there is a shipment heading to the outer colonies. Good pay, 3 days travel. You interested? Lyra nodded. I am interested. For the first time in a very long time, she felt something strange and unfamiliar. It took her a moment to recognize it: hope. 3 weeks had passed since that day in the food court. Lyra could barely recognize herself anymore. Her scales had regained their shine, turning from dull bronze to bright copper. Her wings were stronger. She could fold them properly now, not pressed tight against her back in constant fear. She had even gained weight. Healthy weight. Muscle. The spare crew quarters on the steady hand had become her room. She kept it clean and organized. A few possessions lined the small shelf. Nothing much. A spare set of clothes Owen had bought her. A crystal she found at one of the mining colonies that caught the light in pretty ways. A small plant in a container. She was learning to take care of it. She was learning a lot of things. Owen was patient. He taught her navigation, basic repairs, how to read shipping manifests. She was good with mechanical work. Her claws could reach places human fingers could not. Her strength made heavy lifting easy. They made a good team. They had completed 6 jobs together. 6 successful runs. No problems. Good pay every time. Split evenly every time. Lyra had more credits now than she ever imagined having, but things were about to get complicated. They docked at Hub Station Meridian for resupply. Lyra walked through the station differently now. Head up, wings relaxed. She wore a crew jacket Owen had given her with the Steady Hand logo on it. People still stared, but it was different. Some stared with curiosity instead of disgust. She was buying supplies at a shop when she noticed the whispers. Aliens pointing at her with their various appendages, some taking pictures. She tried to ignore it, but the attention made her scales itch with nervousness. Back at the ship, Owen was dealing with his own problem. A tall alien in an expensive suit stood on the dock. Valorian, Lyra recognized. They were one of the major corporate species in the galaxy. Rich, powerful, usually unpleasant. Mr. Reed, the Valorian said in a smooth voice. I represent Helion Industrial Corporation. We have a proposition for you. Owen crossed his arms. Not interested in corporate contracts. I work independently. This is not about a contract for you, the Valorian replied. We want to purchase your Flamewings work agreement. Owen's expression did not change, but Lyra saw his jaw tighten. She was returning to the ship and heard the conversation. She stopped behind a cargo container to listen. She does not have a work agreement, Owen said carefully. She is crew. Free crew? The Valorian laughed. Of course. But surely you have some form of contract. Payment terms? Obligation periods. We are prepared to offer you 200,000 credits for whatever agreement you have. 200,000 credits. Lyra's mind went blank. That was enough to buy a new ship. A bigger one. Better equipment. Owen could retire if he wanted. I think you misunderstand the situation, Owen said. His voice had gone very cold. Lyra is not under contract. She works here because she chooses to. She can leave whenever she wants. I cannot sell something I do not own. The Valorian's expression shifted to confusion. Then how do you ensure her loyalty? Her continued service? I pay her fairly and treat her with respect. Seems to work fine. How very human of you, the Valorian said with clear condescension, but inefficient. Our corporation has use for a Flamewing. We have industrial facilities that require heat-resistant workers. We can offer her steady employment, structure, security. You can offer her that yourself, Owen replied. I am not her keeper. Go ask her if she is interested. Lyra stepped out from behind the container. Both of them turned to look at her. The Valorian's eyes lit up with interest. Owen's expression stayed neutral, but she saw concern in his eyes. I am not interested, Lyra said directly to the Valorian. Thank you for the offer. The Valorian studied her. You understand we are offering guaranteed work? Fixed salary? Company housing? All the uncertainty of independent hauling would be eliminated. I understand, Lyra replied. My answer is still no. The alien looked between her and Owen. Fascinating. The human has trained you well. Tell me, does he at least keep proper documentation? Insurance? Legal protections? I have my own documentation, Lyra said, feeling her temper rising. My own insurance. My own legal status as an independent worker. I am not trained. I am employed. There is a difference. The Valorian's professional mask slipped slightly. I see. Well, the offer remains open if you change your mind. 200,000 credits, Mr. Reed. Think about it. He left. Owen and Lyra stood on the dock in silence. You should have taken it, Lyra said quietly. Owen looked at her sharply. What? 200,000 credits. That is enough to buy a new ship. Better equipment. You could— Stop, Owen interrupted. Just stop. I am not selling you because there is nothing to sell. You are a person, not cargo. But I heard what he said. Industrial facilities. They would probably send me to work in hazardous zones, refineries, smelting plants, places where other species need expensive protection, but I would not. Lyra's voice cracked. You have already done so much for me. If you could make your life better. My life is fine, Owen said firmly. Better than fine. We have a good thing here. We work well together. Why would I mess that up for credits? Because that is how the galaxy works, Lyra said. Everyone trades. Everyone uses what they have to get ahead. I am valuable now. The video from the food court made me famous. Companies want to use that. You could too. I would understand. Owen was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He sat down right there on the dock and gestured for her to sit too. Let me tell you a story, he said. When I was in the military, I had a squad. Good people. We went through a lot together. One day, command offered me a promotion. Officer position, good pay, comfortable posting, but I would have to leave my squad. Transferred to a different unit. Did you take it? Lyra asked. No, because my squad was not just work. They were family. And you do not sell out family for a promotion. You do not trade people for credits. Even when it makes financial sense. Even when everyone says you are stupid for not taking the deal. He looked at her directly. You are crew. But more than that, you are a friend. And I do not sell my friends. Ever. Lyra felt that strange wetness in her eyes again, the tears that would not fall. I am not leaving either, she said. Just so you know. Other people have made offers. Some flame-wing groups want me to join them, say I should not work with humans, that I am betraying my species. But I am not going anywhere. You do not owe me anything, Owen said. I know, Lyra replied. That is exactly why I am staying. They sat together on the dock as other crews moved around them, loading cargo, making deals, living their lives. Neither of them knew that this conversation had been recorded, that the Valorian had been streaming the whole interaction to his corporate superiors. Neither of them knew that their simple loyalty to each other was about to cause much bigger problems. But for now, they just sat together, two people who had become friends, who had chosen each other not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Sometimes in a galaxy built on transactions, that was the most revolutionary thing of all. The message appeared on Owen's communication screen at 3 a.m, station time. He was not asleep. He had been staring at the ceiling of his quarters for an hour, unable to stop thinking. The message was anonymous. No sender information. Just text, you made powerful people angry. Watch your back. Owen deleted it. Then another one came. And another. By morning, he had received 15 threatening messages. Some were vague. Some were specific. One included a detailed list of accidents that could happen to small cargo ships in deep space. He did not tell Lyra. Not yet. He did not want to worry her, but she noticed anyway. She always noticed. You look tired, she said over breakfast in the small galley. Bad dreams? Something like that, Owen replied. He pushed his food around his plate. The egg suddenly did not look appealing. Lyra's amber eyes studied him. You are lying. You are bad at lying, Owen sighed. He pulled up his communication screen and showed her the messages. She read through them silently. Her scales seemed to lose some of their shine. This is because of me, she said quietly. This is because corporations do not like being told no. Owen corrected. Not your fault. We should take a break. Stay on the station for a while. Let things cool down. We have bills to pay. The ship needs maintenance. We need work. As if the universe was listening, a job offer came through. Mining consortium. Human-operated, which was unusual. The pay was excellent. Almost too good. The route went through the ash belt, an unstable asteroid field that most haulers avoided. Owen stared at the offer. Every instinct he had said it was a trap. But they needed the credits. Station authorities had started charging them extra inspection fees. Docking costs had mysteriously doubled. Economic pressure. Someone was trying to squeeze them out. We are taking this job, Owen said. Lyra looked at the route. The ash belt is dangerous, I know. But I also know this ship. She is old, but she is tougher than she looks. Military surplus. I installed extra shielding when I bought her. We will be fine. He did not sound convincing even to himself. They departed the station 6 hours later. The steady hand moved through normal space without problems. Owen kept checking the scanners. Nothing unusual. Maybe he was being paranoid. Maybe the job was legitimate. They were 2 hours into the ash belt when Lyra spotted them. 3 ships, she said, pointing at the scanner. They just appeared. No transponder signals. Owen's military training kicked in immediately. Strap in. This is going to get rough. The ships decloaked fully. Pirate vessels. Heavily armed. They moved to surround the steady hand in a triangle formation. A communication request came through. Owen accepted it. A scarred face appeared on the screen. Species was hard to identify. Too many cybernetic modifications. Cut your engines. Surrender your cargo and the flame wing. Do this and you live. Not happening, Owen replied. He cut the communication and threw the ship into a hard turn. The steady hand dove between 2 asteroids. Weapons fire lit up the space behind them. Owen flew like he was still in the military, using every trick he remembered. The ship groaned under the strain. They are hurting us, Lyra said. She had pulled up a tactical display, trying to push us away from the station. Deeper into the belt. I know. Hold on. Owen aimed the ship directly at the largest asteroid in sight. Lyra's claws dug into her seat. At the last second, he pulled up and over. 2 of the pirate ships followed. One was not fast enough. It clipped the asteroid and spun away, trailing debris. 2 left, Owen said. His hands were steady on the controls, but sweat ran down his face. The pirates were better pilots than he expected. They stayed on him, matching every move. Weapons fire got closer each time. I have an idea, Lyra said suddenly. But it is dangerous. We are already in danger. What is your idea? The engines. If I override the safety locks, I can push them past normal limits. We would be faster. But the heat would be extreme. Too much for you. Owen understood immediately. You would have to do it from inside the engine compartment. Yes, that is insane. The temperature would kill most species. Good thing I am not most species. Another impact shook the ship. Shields at 40%. They did not have time to argue. Do it, Owen said. Lyra unbuckled and ran. Owen focused on flying, trying to keep them alive long enough for her plan to work. He heard her over the internal communication. I am at the engine. Opening the safety panel now. The steady hand shuddered. More weapons fire. Shields at 25%. Overriding locks. This is going to feel rough. The ship lurched forward. Speed increased dramatically. The pirate vessels fell behind, caught off guard. Owen used the burst of speed to weave deeper into the asteroid field where the bigger ships could not follow safely. They lost 1 pursuer in the maze of rocks. The last one was persistent. Better pilot. Smaller ship. It stayed with them. Then a direct hit struck the steady hand. Alarm screamed. Hull breach in Section 3. Life support failing, Lyra, Owen shouted. I'm okay. Engine room is sealed. Her voice sounded strained. I can fix the breach. Give me 2 minutes. We might not have 2 minutes. Then fly better. Despite everything, Owen almost laughed. He pushed the damaged ship through impossible maneuvers. Shields failed completely. Another hit would be catastrophic. 90 seconds. The pirate ship lined up for a kill shot. 60 seconds. Owen saw a narrow gap between 2 spinning asteroids. Impossible gap. Suicide gap, 30 seconds. He went for it anyway. The steady hand scraped through with centimeters to spare. The pirate ship tried to follow. It was too big, too slow. It smashed into one of the asteroids. Explosion lit up the scanners. Breach sealed. Lyra's voice came through. But Owen, the heat damaged the mineral regulators. I used my fire breath to weld the breach. I do not feel good. Just get back up here. We are heading to the nearest station. Silence. Lyra? More silence. Owen switched to internal cameras. The engine room showed Lyra collapsed on the floor, scales dull, breathing shallow. He had no choice. He set course for the nearest station and hoped they would make it in time. The nearest station was called Frontier Rest. Small, independent. Mostly a refueling stop for ships traveling the outer routes. Owen pushed the steady hand to maximum speed. Damaged systems screaming in protest, he kept calling down to the engine room. Lyra, talk to me. Say something, no response. The internal cameras showed her in the same position, not moving. The station appeared on his scanners. 40 minutes away, then 30, then 20. Each minute felt like an hour. He sent an emergency medical request ahead. By the time he docked, a medical team was waiting. 2 humans and a Krillian medic. They rushed into the ship with a stretcher. Owen had already carried Lyra to the airlock. She felt too light in his arms. Her scales had turned gray. Her breathing was so shallow he had to watch carefully to see her chest move. "What happened?" the lead medic asked a human woman with gray hair. She used her fire breath. Too much. She said something about mineral regulators. The Krillian medic made a clicking sound. Flame wings metabolize specific minerals to produce their fire. Using too much depletes their system. This is very serious. We need to get her to the medical bay immediately. They took her. Owen tried to follow, but the gray-haired medic stopped him. "Let us work. You can see her when she is stable." Owen stood in the docking bay. His ship was damaged. His crew member was dying, and it was his fault. He should never have taken that job. Should have known it was a trap. He went to the station's small bar and sat alone. He did not drink. Just sat there staring at nothing. A screen on the wall was playing news feeds. Owen barely noticed until his own face appeared. He looked up sharply. The footage showed the pirate attack. One of the pirates must have been streaming it. The feed showed the steady hand dodging between asteroids, showed the impossible flying, showed the final escape through the spinning rocks. The news anchor, a Centaurian, was talking. This footage has spread rapidly across the network. The human pilot, identified as Owen Reed, was defending his Flame Wing crew member from what appears to be a corporate-sponsored attack. The Flame Wing, Lyra, sustained critical injuries, saving the ship. Owen's communication device started buzzing. Messages. Dozens of them. He ignored them all. Hours passed. Finally, the gray-haired medic found him. "She is stable," the medic said. But it was close. Another hour and we would have lost her. Flame Wings need massive mineral replacement after using their fire breath that way. "The treatment is expensive." "How expensive?" Owen asked, the medic told him. Owen felt his stomach drop. It was more than he had. More than both their savings combined. He would have to sell the ship. Even then, it might not be enough. "I will figure it out," Owen said. "Just keep her alive." He went back to his ship to start making calls. Maybe he could get a loan. Maybe he could sell some equipment. He was halfway up the boarding ramp when someone called his name. A group of people approached. Other haulers. Owen recognized a few faces. Independent crews like him. They stopped in front of him. An older human man stepped forward. "We saw the news. Heard about your situation." "I am handling it," Owen said shortly. "We know you are, but you do not have to handle it alone." The man held out a credit chip. We took up a collection. Every independent hauler docked at this station contributed. Some of the station workers, too. Even a few corporate types who were impressed by your flying. Owen took the chip and checked the balance. His vision blurred. It was enough. More than enough. "I do not know what to say," he managed. "Do not say anything," a Krillian hauler clicked. "Just keep being you. Keep showing the galaxy that there is another way to do things, that we do not have to treat each other like transactions." "The corporations hate that," a human woman added, "which means you are doing something right. If they can come after you for treating your crew with dignity, they can come after any of us." Owen looked at the group. Maybe 20 people. Different species. Different backgrounds. All independent crews who lived on the edge of the galaxy where corporate reach was weaker. "Thank you," he said. His voice cracked. "Thank you all." They dispersed slowly. Owen went directly to the medical bay and paid the bill. The gray-haired medic nodded approval. "She can have visitors now. Briefly, she is awake." Lyra was in a medical bed, hooked up to various monitors and tubes. Her scales had regained some color, but she still looked weak. Her eyes opened when Owen entered. "You look terrible," she said. Her voice was rough but had that familiar edge of humor. Owen laughed. It came out more like a sob. "You almost died saving my ship. I think I am allowed to look terrible." "Our ship," Lyra corrected. "And I did not save the ship." "I saved us. There is a difference." Owen sat in the chair beside her bed. "The medic said you need to rest. No work for at least 2 weeks." "2 weeks?" Lyra tried to sit up and winced. "We cannot afford that. We have bills. The ship needs repairs, already handled. Other haulers took up a collection, paid your medical bills, gave us extra for repairs." Owen shook his head in amazement. "I think we started something. That day in the food court. The way we treat each other. People are paying attention." "Is that good or bad?" Lyra asked. "Both, probably. The corporations are definitely not happy, but other independents are watching, seeing that maybe there is another way. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Lyra said quietly, "I heard the pirates. They said to surrender the cargo and me, like I was just another piece of property. You are not property. You are crew. You are family. I know that. You know that. But the galaxy does not work that way." "Maybe it should," Owen said. "Maybe we make it work that way." Lyra smiled weakly. 2 people against the entire corporate structure of the galaxy? Those are bad odds. We are not alone anymore. You saw those haulers. They are with us. And I bet there are more. People tired of the way things are. Ready for something different. "Something human," Lyra said. "Something better," Owen corrected. A nurse, Acrylian, entered to check Lyra's monitors. "She needs rest now. You can visit again tomorrow," Owen stood. "I will be on the ship if you need anything." "Owen," Lyra called as he reached the door. "Thank you for not giving up on me." "Thank you for not giving up on us," he replied. He left the medical bay and walked through the station. People nodded at him. Some smiled. A few stopped to shake his hand. Word had spread fast. Owen Reed, the human who refused to sell his crew member. Lyra, the flame wing who almost died saving her captain. Together, they had become something the galaxy had not expected. They had become a symbol. 6 months had passed since the attack in the Ash Belt. The steady hand sat docked at Hub Station Meridian, freshly repaired and better than ever. The cargo bay was full of legitimate goods, properly paid for, heading to the outer colonies. But the ship itself was not the biggest change. Owen stood at the loading ramp, checking manifests on his tablet. Behind him worked 2 new crew members. Danny was a young human who could not afford the academy fees to become a proper pilot. He had been sleeping in maintenance tunnels when Owen found him. Now he was learning navigation and showing real talent. The other was called River. His species did not use gender pronouns the way humans did. River was a refugee from a war-torn system, pale blue skin marked with scars. He was quiet but incredibly skilled with engineering. He and Lyra worked together like they had been crew for years instead of months. Lyra herself was directing the loading. Her scales gleamed copper in the station lights. Her wings were fully extended as she used them for balance while lifting heavy containers. She had gained even more muscle. She looked healthy, strong, happy. "That is the last container," she called out. "We are loaded and balanced. Ready to depart when you are." Owen nodded. "Good work. Danny, run through pre-flight checks. River, make sure those new engine modifications are calibrated." "Already done," River said in his soft voice. "I tested them twice. We will have 15% more efficiency." The steady hand had become something of a legend among independent haulers. The ship where humans did things differently, where crew was treated as family, where pay was split equally and no one was left behind. Other ships had started copying their model. Small at first, a crew here, a crew there, but it was spreading. The old ways of indentured service and contract slavery were starting to look outdated, cruel, unnecessary. The corporations were not happy about it. "Owen Reed," a formal voice called from the dock. Owen turned to see an official-looking group approaching. Station administrators, legal representatives. A few he recognized as corporate lawyers. "Can I help you?" Owen asked carefully. The lead administrator, a Centaurian in official robes, held up a tablet. "You have been summoned to a tribunal. Hellion Industrial Corporation has filed charges against you." "What charges?" "Interference with corporate contracts. Encouraging breach of service agreements. Operating a ship that undermines established economic practices." The administrator looked uncomfortable as he read them. Also, they claimed damages from the loss of their hired contractors in the Ash Belt. Owen stared. "You mean the pirates they sent to attack us?" "The tribunal will determine the facts. You are required to appear in 2 hours. Failure to appear will result in your ship being impounded and your station privileges being revoked." Lyra appeared at Owen's shoulder. "This is about me. They are still angry I refused their offer." "This is about control," Owen corrected. "They want to make an example of us. Show everyone what happens when you do not play by their rules." Danny and River joined them. The 4 crew members stood together facing the officials. "We will all testify," Danny said. "Whatever you need." The tribunal was held in one of the station's large conference rooms. It was packed. News crews from a dozen networks. Independent haulers who had come to watch. Even some corporate representatives curious about the outcome. Owen and Lyra sat at one table. Across from them sat lawyers for Helion Industrial Corporation. The tribunal panel consisted of 5 judges from different species meant to be neutral. The corporate lawyers presented their case. They showed economic data about how Owen's model was disrupting labor markets. They claimed his treatment of Lyra set dangerous precedents. They even tried to argue that by not controlling her properly, he was responsible for her actions. The Flamewing used military-grade tactics in the ash belt, one lawyer argued. She sealed a hull breach with her fire breath, a controlled application of force that shows training. This suggests the human is operating a privateer vessel disguised as a cargo hauler. I sealed the breach to save our lives, Lyra interrupted. I was not trained. I was desperate. Order, the head judge said. You will have your chance to speak. The hearing went on for hours. Owen explained everything from the beginning. The food court meeting, the partnership, the equal pay, the attack, the rescue. I did not save her, Owen said clearly. I gave her an opportunity. She saved herself. Then she saved me. That is what crew does. That is what family does. Lyra testified about her experiences, the difference between being owned and being respected. The corporations wanted workers they could control. Owen wanted partners he could trust. He pushed his entire meal to me, Lyra said. Not the leftovers. The whole meal. He bought himself a new one. That moment changed my life. Because it showed me that kindness does not have to come with strings attached. That dignity is not a transaction. The judges deliberated for an hour. When they returned, the head judge spoke. This tribunal finds no evidence of illegal activity by Owen Reed or his crew. The charges are dismissed. The room erupted. Cheers from the independent haulers. Angry shouts from corporate representatives. The judge continued. Furthermore, this tribunal recognizes the need for updated regulations protecting independent workers. The treatment described by these crew members represents a model worth examining. The Meridian Accord will be drafted, establishing minimum standards for worker treatment and prohibiting coerced labor contracts. It was not a complete victory. The corporations would find other ways to push back. But it was a start. After the hearing, Owen and his crew returned to the Steady Hand. As they prepared for departure, Owen noticed a commotion at the food court. He walked over out of curiosity. A young Krillian was sitting at a table, eating slowly. He looked thin, malnourished. His carapace was dull. A nervous alien approached him. Some species Owen did not recognize. Young. Scared. Excuse me, the alien said in broken common tongue. When you finish, can I have your leftovers? The Krillian looked at the alien, then at his meal. Then he smiled and pushed his entire tray across the table. These are not leftovers, the Krillian said. This is your meal. Let me get my own. Owen watched from a distance. Lyra appeared beside him, also watching. We started something, she said quietly. No, Owen replied. We just reminded people of something they forgot. That we all do better when we take care of each other. That kindness does not make you weak. It makes you strong. They watched as the Krillian returned with a new meal. The 2 aliens sat together talking. Strangers becoming friends over shared food. Come on, Owen said. We have a delivery to make. The crew of the Steady Hand returned to their ship. Danny plotted the course. River checked the engines. Lyra secured the cargo. Owen took his place in the pilot's seat. As they undocked from the station, Owen looked at his crew. A human kid from the streets, a refugee from a war, a dragon girl who once begged for leftovers, and himself a former soldier trying to find his place. They were not perfect. They were not powerful, but they were family. And in a galaxy built on transactions and control, that made them revolutionary. The Steady Hand jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind them, Hub Station Meridian continued its daily business. In the food court, more people shared meals. More strangers became friends. More small acts of kindness rippled outward. Owen had once pushed a tray across a table without thinking. Just trying to help someone who was hungry. He never imagined it would change anything. But that is how revolutions start. Not with grand speeches or massive battles. With small moments, simple choices. One person deciding that another person's dignity matters more than following the rules. Can I have your leftovers? A hungry dragon girl had asked. These are not leftovers. This is your meal, a human had replied. and the galaxy was slowly learning what that meant.